So today I will be showcasing a nice fire sorceress build that can very safely do the Uber Tristram, and as you can see, it's made on hardcore, so it's actually quite safe as well. So first off, the build is actually quite easy. I'm using full towels because it has a minus 15 fire damage, it has a lot of skills, it has faster hit recovery, resistances, quite a big bonus to life. It's actually a pretty decent set for hardcore. Well, I've put minus 5 facets in all of the armor pieces, like the head, the weapon, and the armor. For a shield, I'm using Gurk's Sanctuary. You know, the one that's always used on cold sorceress build, or immortal builds. I'm not running any sort of immortal sorc. I'm just using this because it has a lot of resistance, it's easy to reach max block, and it has a lot of damage reduction and magic damage reduction. I've kept a soul rune in this because, you know, I just like to have the extra safety. For boots, I can only ever recommend one thing. That's the Sandstorm Tricks. Why? They have faster hit recovery, and those are very important on. It's very important on hardcore. It also gives you a nice plus strength. When you're doing Uber Mephisto and Lilith, actually, you're going to be needing Marrow Walk. Why? Because it has the bone prison charges. I'll show you how it's done later. So having Marrow Walks is actually quite important as well. Also make sure that you get a strength roll that's compatible with, you know, the strength you have on your tricks, so that if you take off your tricks, you can still wear your shield even if you're using Marrow Walk. Then there's the obvious, you're going to be using Mage Fist. Personally, I choose to use 2 Dwarf Stars for my rings because it has plus 40 life times 2, which is a lot. It also has 30% fire absorb in total, which is going to be nice because your Fire Sunder is taking some fire resistance away. And it has 2 times 15 magic damage reduction. So, when you look at my stats, as you can see here, my physical damage reduction is 21, magic damage reduction is 60, which is quite a lot. And as you can see, my resists are all maxed except for fire. I'm still looking for a nice, better fire resistance charms. I just only have the ones I found, and they're not particularly good. And for the rest, I'm using this nice fire skiller, and grind charms with vitality, you know, charm with fire resistance, vitality, or, you know, life. When I'm doing Ubers, I always swap out my beads, of course. I have one here with faster hit recovery and poison resistance, extra life, extra life, extra life. You know, really wanna, if you're doing this in hardcore at least, you wanna stack up on as much life as you can. So yeah, that's basically the build. On my swap I have a Rhyme Shield, just, you know, for the resistances, and a wand with low resist, which is going to you know, really help against Uber Mephisto, especially because you want to get him down as quickly as you can. So you use lower resists on him. As for the breakpoints, you're going to be reaching the 63 faster cast breakpoint, which is 9 frames. You cannot go for 105 faster cast rate if you are using Gurks and full tiles. You know, that's my personal choice. I like to run full tiles. I find it to be a very safe set to work with on hardcore. And I also really want to use Gurks on hardcore because I don't want to die. I've done Uber Tristram multiple times with this character already, and it's really very safe. But you'll see that later. As for the gear, I'm using a torch and an Annihilus. You can ditch the Annihilus, it's not necessary. I've done it without. And your torch doesn't have to be a Sorceress torch. It can be anything. I used you know, as a temp, I have used a Druid torch with 14-18 stats, something like that. I mean, Druid and Assassin torches are very cheap, so you just get one of those to get your resistances and your stats up. Just make sure that you know, stack resistances as much as you can. Then my mercenary is just using some crappy insights, using actually a pretty nice vampire gaze that I found, and it's using treachery. So that's basically it. I'm going to be showing you the pre-buffing section up next, and then we will, you know, do some actual Ubers, and you'll see what it's like and how safe it actually is with... Oh, I forgot to show you, of course, the skills. One frozen armor. This one here is from my Tal orb, so just one in frozen armor. Telekinesis, teleport, aesthetic field. This one again comes from my Tal orb, so I've put nothing there. And then it's just basically a standard fire sword build. Max fire mastery, meteor, fireball, firebolt, one in enchant for your mercenary, and you max inferno last. The reason why this works so incredibly well for Ubers is because Meteor leaves a very, very nice burning fire on the ground that does damage over time. And if you know how monster regeneration works in Diablo 2, you've probably heard that you need open wounds or something like that, right? To keep the Ubers from regenerating. It works because when a monster takes damage in a certain frame, it cannot regenerate any health in that frame. Now, when a monster is standing on the fire patch that Meteor provides, it's constantly taking damage. Like every frame, it's taking damage. It means that so long as a monster stays on the Meteor fire patch, it's never going to regenerate any HP. So basically, you just have to keep them on the fire, and you know they will eventually die from the fire and the damage you're putting out on them. So that's actually why I think fire is by far the best build to do Ubers on with a sorceress. I've tried Blizzard Meteor hybrid, where I just went, you know, basically a full Blizzard sorc with 1 point in Meteor. The problem is that your Meteor, the fire patch on the ground, only lasts a couple of seconds in the early levels, and it scales up with skill level. Like, it doesn't mention in the skill here, but the fire duration on the ground actually scales with the skill level. And we will see here the Amazon Basin, blah blah blah, skill level, here we go. As you can see, when you are a cold sorc, then your level is going to be at like 6 or 7, maybe 9, depending on if you have an Annihilus or and the Sorceress torch instead of a random torch. But it's not going to last very long, and you know that just didn't work out so well. Taking out especially Uber Mephisto was really hard with the Blizzard Sorceress. But my skill level, as you've seen, 32. The fire on the ground lasts for almost 20 seconds. That means, and you will see this later on, if you have to duck out for some reason, like you ran out of full rejuves or your bone prison charges on Marrowwalk have run out and you have to go to town, it means that the monster is going to keep on burning and won't heal up while you are moving to and from the portal. So yeah, that's why I am very highly recommending being a fire sorc if you want to do Ubers. Anyways, I'm going to start preparing for the Ubers, and then I'll show you how it's done and how easy it actually is with the fire sorc. Alright, so I've prepared and pre-buffed. As you can see, I have used a bow barb to get my HP up a lot. I am max block. I have pre-buffed Fade on my mercenary and on myself, as you can see. And now we're going to start looking for Uber Izual. Right, so where is he? Should be somewhere here. Save yourself, so should be there. Let's clean up some packs. There he is. There he is. Alright, proc low resist, static him down, and just start spamming meteors and fireballs into him. And as you can see, I've lost around 900 HP because I wasn't even trying to keep myself safe. That's how safe this actually is. I'm going to get some antidote potions to pre-buff for Lilith as well. As you can see, even on hardcore, like this is very safe so long as you've built your character properly. There he is. Get low resist up, static him down, and start raining meteors and fireballs down on him. Let's see. There we go. Oh, would you look at that? Lost around 600 HP, which is almost nothing. Once again, it's just super easy, super safe. Now, Lilith is of course a bit worse. She's quite, she hits hard. You don't want her to hit you. So you're going to have to be using Bone Prison to keep her, to keep her at least away from you while you kill her. There we have her. First we're going to take care of all the mobs around her. Bam, dead. And there we go. You just trap her, low resist. And then you start raining meteors down on her. sure she stays trapped in the bone prisons, and there we go. I have lost literally 0 HP. If your gear is a bit worse, of course, you can do the same trick for Duriel.
Good afternoon.
Oh, I even forgot to use my antidotes. Yeah, well, whatever. You can use the same trick, of course. I'm going to get this one on, this one, and I want my HP up. Let's see, a little over 3k HP. It's not bad. Repair the charges. Now, I'm going to get my bow bar back in here. And then I will pre-buff again. And then we are going to do Uber Tristram. Alright. Ready to do Tristram. Bill wants to go first. That's interesting. So we are going to static him down. And then it's just brutal, you know, just start pounding him. I didn't even use the low resist one. Why? Because, you know, with the change, Baal is normally fire immune, so lower resist would only work at 1/5 of the effectiveness, but you know, doesn't really matter. All you need is the. Come on. Let's get Mephisto down. Mephisto you actually want to use, then you just trap him. Just make sure he cannot move, he stays trapped. There we go, that's Mephisto down, and as you can see, I lost like 400 HP trying to kill Mephisto. It was completely safe. You know, it's just trivial. And let's see, Diablo is the last one. Try to get him down, static him down, and lower resist him as well, like whatever. And then just, you know, start killing him. Just start destroying and keep an eye on the HP. You know, if you need to, you can always just pop a reshift, but that's it. As you can see, you know, the closest I've been to death is about half my HP. And you know, I could have used a reshift if it wasn't necessary. This is just, it's really super easy. This is a very, very safe build. Max block, as I said, with my Gurks. You can see my Meteor damage is quite high. But the thing that's killing them is that, you know, they're taking continuous damage from the Meteor. It's going to rain down. As you can see, this fire is going to stay on the ground for a long time. So long as they stand in the fire, they will not heal, and that's the key. That's the key to making this work successfully. You know, that's how long it stays on the ground. It was like, what, 30 seconds almost? Like half a minute? 20, 30 seconds? It's trivial. It's really trivial. If you're on softcore, you know, you no longer have to ever create a smiter paladin at the start of ladder. You can just do it with your fire sorc, so long as you have a flame rift. On hardcore like this character is, I wouldn't recommend doing it without having, you know, actual decent gear like this without having, you know, the full tile set, 2 dwarf stars to cover the fire damage you're going to be taking from Diablo, and, you know, Gurks, max block, lots of magic damage reduced, and a bow barb. I mean, you've seen the life I've lost. I didn't really need the bow barb at any moment because my life never spiked down below 14 or 1500 in, you know, 1 second or so. So you don't really need it, but it's hardcore. If you don't want to lose your character, you have to, you know, you have to stay safe. Just use a bow barb. And yeah, well, that's basically it. I hope this was clear, and I hope, yeah, well, I'm able to show any of you guys how easy it is to do Uber Tristram with a Sorceress, at least with a Fire Sorceress. So yeah, have a nice day. Hope this helped you out.